Hello, fellow creatives. Welcome and welcome back to Seed. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to draft a pattern, cut, and sew this beautiful robe. So it has a lapel detailing with piping detailing as well, and it's just really cute. Something to just lounge around at home and just chill. Vibe at home. So, yeah, if you're interested and you want to know how to make this, then make sure you keep on watching. Okay guys, so you want to get your pattern, and then what you're going to do is that you're going to mark your center front, which is supposed to be 3 inches away from the edge of the pattern paper, and then you also want to mark 1 inch at the top of the pattern paper. And then the first thing you're going to do is to draft the neckline. Okay, so for the neckline, it's going to be 3.5 inches wide and 1 inch deep. Okay, so you can work with 3 inches, 4 inches, it depends on you, but I went with 3.5 inches. And then what you just want to do is you just want to use those measurements to create kind of like a box, and then you just want to use your French curve to create the curve, and you have that for your back panel. Okay, so we're going to be drafting the neckline for the front panel later on in the tutorial. And then the next thing is to mark the shoulder. So I went ahead to use 10 inches for my shoulder instead of 7.25 because I just wanted it to be a little bit more dropped down. So it depends on you. If you don't want that, then you can just use your normal shoulder measurements. So as you can see, I went down from that point by 1 inch, and then I just connected that point to my neckline like so. So after that, you can go ahead to start marking your vertical measurements, which is your shoulder to bust to waist, and dress hem. So as you can see, I'm marking just my bust. Usually I'm supposed to mark my armhole line to create my armhole, but I'm just going to be using my bust line for my armhole just because I want it to be a little bit freer than normal. But if you want it to be fitted on your body, then you can work with your armhole. Okay, so as you can see, I already marked my bust length, my waist length. Since it's like a free silhouette, I'm not going to be, using my hip, and I'm also going to be adding 2 inches to quarter of my measurements. So as you can see on my bust line, I just went ahead to measure my bust line divided by 4, and then I added 2 inches. Okay, so that's the exact same measurement that I'm going to be using for all of the lines, for my waistline and for my dress hem. And as you can see, I also went inwards from my waist measurement so that it just has a little bit more shape. So yeah, that's just what I did. And then after I was done with that, I just went ahead to use my curve ruler to mark my armhole curve. So after that, you want to go ahead to your waistline, and you want to mark outwards 2 inches from your center front line, and you want to do that on the hem as well, and just use that to create a straight line. So then after you do that, then you're going to go ahead to mark from your neckline to that point. So once you do that, that is going to be your front panel neckline, and then I'm just adding, half an inch, 0.25 inch of seam allowance at the shoulder seam so that it won't make the dress shorter. And as you can see, I'm just labeling, okay, this is the back panel, and then after that you just want to go ahead to just cut it out like so. So you're only going to be cutting out your back panel neckline because we're going to be using this pattern, like just this pattern piece, for the front panel as well as for the back panel. Okay, so as you can see, once you get to that point, to your bust line point, you do not want to cut the other red line. Okay, you just want to ensure that you cut it like this. Just cut it as you can see on the screen, because if we want to cut out the front panel, all we just need to do is just fold the pattern on that red line. So you can just mark just to let you know that that's like your front panel. And then if you want to cut out your back panel, you just fold the center front line, and voila, you have your two panels on one pattern piece. Okay, so now for the sleeve, I'm going to be using a hack to create the sleeve, since it's like a kind of a regular sleeve because of the difference that we have for the armhole as well as for the shoulder. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is that you want to place your pattern paper like so on a fresh pattern paper, and you're going to mark the top of your shoulder, and then you're going to stretch out like the armhole, like the side seam armhole, just a little bit, just to accommodate the curve more. And then once you do that, you just want to mark that point as well. And once you're done with that, you just want to get your French curve and just create a curve that is going to serve as the sleeve curve. Okay, so as you can see, it was kind of off, so I just went ahead to redo it. But the first thing that I'm doing is just marking the length of the sleeve. Where do I want, like, how long do I want the sleeve to be? So you should actually do this from your center front first, and then you just do
That
the
side
exact same
and it's
square
on
lines
the
together so that you have your sleeve. And then, as you can see, so this is what I was talking about. I just wanted to just use that curve because at that side there's actually supposed to be a curve because that is where the armhole is, right? So yeah, because that is where the armhole curve usually is. So as you can see here, I'm just like trying to give the sleeve more shape. So I just removed 1 inch from the hem, and then I'm just cutting it out. And as you can see, voila, we have our sleeve ready to go.
Hey guys, so I am done cutting out all of the pieces. So the first one is the bodice for the front panel, which has the very deep V neckline, and as you can see I cut out two, and I did not cut out on a fold because the front is going to be open, right? And this one is the back panel, so as you can see it has the very shallow neckline, and it's cut on a fold because the back is going to be closed. So this one is the belt. I measured 2.5 inches for the width, and then I just cut out by 60 inches, which is the full length of the fabric. While for this one, this is the what is that called? This is the flap, lapel, I think. Yeah, so this one is 5 inches because I'm going to fold it in so that it looks big and nice and all of that. And I cut it out by 60 inches as well. I cut out the sleeve pattern. I cut it out on a fold, and I cut out two pieces because yeah. So I also forgot to mention that I cut out these two strips, so they are really really small, and I'm using them for the what did you call it, trimming, that thing. Yeah, I'm just going to show you on the screen. So I'm just going to fold it in to be like this. I'm actually, because there's only one side that's going to be peeking out, so I'm actually supposed to use like maybe bias tape or something like that, but I didn't have something that matches. I don't even really know if this matches, but we're just gonna work with it. I feel like it's gonna be nice because I wanted to have that element. I had other like pink fabrics, but I was like, nah, I just want to use this dark fabric. So yeah.
Okay, guys, so the first thing you want to do to start sewing is that you want to first of all iron. You want to first of all iron your lapel, just make it ironed, as well as this piping detailing. You want to iron it so that it has like a folded so that it's folded into two, because we're going to be using that for the piping. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to align it with the neckline for the front panel, and then you just want to sew it. Okay, so you want to ensure that the fold is going towards the garment while the rough edges of the fabric is going towards the rough edge of the neckline. So as you can see, that is the way you want to arrange it so that when you open it up, it's going to just show just the fold alone. Okay, and you also want to ensure that you try your best to sew as close to the edge of as close to the edge of the folded edge as possible. Okay, so that it should be like it will look seamless, and it will just look really small but really detailed and all of that as well. Okay, so yeah, that is just what you want to do. And then you want to do this for your front panel pieces, you want to do this for your back panel piece, and you want to do this for your sleeve at the hem. And once that is done, you want to get to your ironing board, and you want to just iron it so that the piping detailing is showing through for all of the pieces, like so. And once you're done with that, the next thing is to join the front panel and the back panel together at the shoulder. Okay, so you want to ensure that when you join it together at the shoulder, you open up the seam that you used to join the piping together. Okay, do not fold it, do not make sure that it's not on a fold, because that is how we're going to be joining the lapel to the neckline. Okay, so as you can see, that seam is open, and that is the way you want to sew the shoulder seam. Okay, and once you're done with that, it is time to sew the lapel. So as you can see, I just know how to press it down so that it lays flat and it looks nice. So what we're going to be doing is you're going to be starting from the hem of the dress at the neckline, and then you're just going to sew. But when you turn it over, you would notice that you can see the seam that you used to join the piping to the neckline. Okay, and that is the seam that you want to take note of, because you're going to be ensuring that when you're joining the lapel, you want to join, like you want to make your stitches on that same stitch line, okay? And this will enable you to join the lapel to the bodice of the dress and still being able to see the piping detail, okay? So as you can see, because I sewed directly on it, you can still see the piping detail even though the lapel was joined to it, okay? Do you understand what I mean? So as you can see, just try your best. This will take a while. It was showing on time, that's because, but it actually takes a while because you actually have to make sure that you are sewing directly on that seam line just to get the results that you want, okay? All right, guys. So once you're done with that, you can go ahead to overlock your raw edges. So I've been using bias binding to conceal my raw edges, and I'm actually liking it. I'm actually feeling it. Like, it just makes it look neater, even though the color I chose was off. But anyways, that is not the thing. I just didn't want to go to the market to get one because I was lazy. But the next thing is to join your sleeve to your bodice, okay? So what you want to do is, I want to get your sleeve, and then you're going to get the middle point of your sleeve head like so. So just fold it into two, and then just get the middle point and then notch it, okay? So that we have the middle of the sleeve head, and the middle of the sleeve head is going to be joined to the shoulder seam, like where the shoulder seam connects for the front and the back panel. So you're going to pin it down there, and then you're going to sew on each side of the sleeve and the armhole. Okay, so usually I like sewing my sleeves starting from the middle and then just working my way to each side, just so that it's just even on each side. And yeah, that is just after that. So as you can see, once I sewed it, I just went ahead to conceal the edges with my bias binding as well. So for the sleeve hem, because I used the bias binding, it was coming out, so I just made a stitch on the bias binding just to keep it inside and just make it stay inside. So yeah, after that, the next thing for you to do is just to sew the side seams, okay? So for the side seams, I opted for a French seam. So what I did first of all was to sew the side seams with the wrong sides facing each other first of all, and then I just clipped it a little bit, and then I took it to my ironing board, and then I flipped it over to the wrong side, so that the right side and the so that the right sides will be facing each other. And then I just took it to my ironing board just to press it and make sure that everything is laying flat and laying nice. And then after that, I just went ahead to sew it as if I'm sewing like on the normal way we do, which is sew the side seams with the right side facing each other. And then once I did that, that is literally it for the dress. All you need to do is sew the hem, just double hem. So what I did for this hem was that I just used another strip of fabric just so that it's more seamless and all of that. So I just cut out 5 inches by 60 inches, and then I pressed it down once first, like in half first, and then I just pressed it down at the sides so that it has like this already like turned in kind of thing. And then what I just did was that I just put it into the hemline, and then I just top stitched like so, okay? So that is just what you want to do for the hem, or you can decide to do a double hem. It depends on you, but I just wanted it to be more seamless and just look better, so that was why I opted for that. And I just went ahead to get my belt piece, just sewed it right sides facing each other, and then I just turned it over, pressed it, and voila, that is literally it for this robe. I'm really feeling it. I like it. I like the vibe. I like how it looks. The fabric is nice, color is nice, and it's just a very easy thing to wear at home, to just chill, to just vibe. It's really cool loungewear. So yeah, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, all of that, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.